Good morning to you. What are your thoughts on the chronology of this particular drama? Did Rishi Sunak get it right? And how important is it for us to know what he knew and particularly when?
I think the Prime Minister has got this right. It just seems to have taken a long time to get to the right answer. That seems to be my main criticism of it. Rishi needs to come, I don't think come clean is the right phrase, but does need to be very honest about what he knew and when, mainly because the Conservatives' main problem at the moment seems to be trust. We've had Partygate, we had the Owen Paterson affair, we've had the Chris Pincher incident. There's been a succession of Tory MPs badly behaving, and I think that's one of the reasons they're doing so badly in the polls, so they can keep announcing all the policies they like, but until they actually get the trust of the public back, I don't think it really is going to make an ounce of difference.
You know, we have this idea that with these 7 principles of a public life that all of our public servants should adhere to: selflessness, integrity, objectivity, accountability, openness, honesty and leadership. Given that we now know that Rishi Sunak is certainly guilty of not adhering to the public principle of honesty, shouldn't he have the whip taken away, not just lose his cabinet position? He should be gone completely, shouldn't he?
Well, that's always a matter up for the whips. It's a matter for Downing Street itself to decide. There are certain other factors you have to put into play. It's also, can you keep the backbenchers happy? Because there are rumours right now that Mr. Zahawi is not going to back down from this fight anytime soon. And I imagine Downing Street would rather this story go away purely because they want to roll out with this £1 billion emergency plan for the NHS, and they really want to get on with the agenda. One of the reasons I think Mr. Zahawi's gone relatively quickly is because this story became a distraction. I think it was Michael Fabricant you had on your show, on the show earlier, saying that this was a distraction. I think that's why Zahawi has gone, and they're hoping that if he allows him to keep the whip, he might just keep his mouth shut.
The thing is, Peter, Zahawi has a rather long track record of lying, effectively. This has now been proven by this ethics investigation. He was also the gentleman that stood up in the House of Commons and said, we have no plans for vaccine passports, whilst they were tendering contracts for vaccine passports. He said, we have no plans to vaccinate children, whilst those plans were being put in place via the JCVI. So I think from a voter's point of view, there will be a lot of anger out there that he doesn't just go, that he isn't made to leave at this particular point. And having just seen Rishi Sunak speaking this morning and seeing how our viewers are getting in touch, I've got a whole page of views. People deeply dislike, even lifelong Conservative members deeply dislike Rishi Sunak, and they are scared that if he doesn't take more action, he is going to lose the next election.
Well, I can understand the anger. I really can. Trust me, as a Conservative myself, it is annoying when these stories come about. But I do think people have to look at the whole board, as it were. Mr. Zahawi is rather well liked on the backbenches. He does have a strong reputation in Westminster, and he has been an effective minister in certain areas. I do agree with you that over the vaccine passports, on all those issues, I thought, well, hello, I thought he was out the door then. I was surprised when Mr. Sunak put him back in his cabinet in the first place, that I will say. But whether this is going to bring down the Prime Minister, I don't think so. I think this is one of these it's another story to the camel's back. I don't think it's the straw that's going to break it just yet. But I know I completely get people's anger, because trust me, I was speaking to with MPs pretty much all over the weekend, and they were just like, he needs to go. What he needs to do, really, if I was Mr. Zahawi, take the rap on the knuckles, go to the back benches and be quiet for a little while, regain your reputation a little bit, maybe work in some charity sector, do something like that, and then try and get back into government. My problem, I think, is he's going to try and blame the media for a lot of this. If you read his letter, I think that made it very clear that he's not apologised for any of it. I think that's also annoyed an awful lot of people, even lifelong Conservatives, that he's got caught doing something. Hold your hands up and say I got caught.